Sports Professor Rick Horrow, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, the show that goes way beyond the trillion-dollar business of sports. Marketing, deal-making, legal, I guess, business, it's all interconnected, and it is growing fast. And now everybody focuses on off-field stuff because you have a mix of NHL All-Star, Super Bowl, NBA All-Star, Daytona 500, Masters. It is a great 3-month period to be alive and be in this business. And the bottom line is listen to what we have to say as far as the 15 to watch, 5 Tech, 5 Power, NBC.com, CSN Mid-Atlantic, CSN Washington, NBC Washington, at Rick Horrow. Whole bunch of places you look and you come back to the same place. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Audio Boom, Google Play, Stitchers, iTunes feed, and the whole group of things. We will give you specific organized ideas of all of the top 15 issues in sports this week, as well as the top power issues as far as philanthropy and the top tech issues as far as philanthropy. We have a special issue today, special interview today, Jason Coyle, stadium, metrics, analysis, new media, something you really shouldn't miss. But let's talk for a minute about some of the 2 big stories of the week. And I know it's a little self-serving, but we came out with our 8th annual Horror Sports Ventures proprietary annual ranking of the most powerful athletes in sports. We've kept it to apples, 50% on-field performance, 50% attributes, with a mathematical formula that my guys in the back of the house can explain. All I can tell you is it's a unique combination of endorsement and on-field. And for the first time ever, Serena's not in it, and it's obvious because her performance slowed a bit, even though she is still one of the top players in the stratosphere. She started a family, a little bit of those outburst moments, but now she's defending her brand. It'll be better. Expect a strong bounce back once she's back on schedule. Tom Brady, in the cusp of playing in yet another Super Bowl, hit his highest ranking in recent memory, 54-place increase since last year. The stellar play of the Greek Freak continued on the court and off. He's 8th. Top endorsement earners, Roger Federer 12, $58 million in off-court stuff. LeBron James 10, $56 million. And the highest rookie from any sport? Yeah, it's obvious, Patrick Mahomes, who finished 20th in the rankings and came within a Tom Brady nanosecond of heading to Atlanta. But his time will come, and it continues to come. We'll talk about the Super Bowl in a couple of minutes. But we're now talking about media metrics from a perspective that everybody needs to understand. It used to be we'd watch TV, that was it. Then we watch cable, then we watch devices. Now we have an issue of how to measure it, how to finance, how to amalgamate, and how to provide programming to the consumer that is basically unique. Stadium Company, the original multi-platform sports network, it features exclusive live on-demand games and events, highlights, classic games, 24/7 linear feed distributed across both digital and broadcast platforms, as well as a comprehensive array of on-demand digital content, live games, and events. It was formed when Campus Insiders, 120 Sports, and American Sports Network combined to amalgamate and provide a unique perspective in the business, merging of the operations, Silver Chalice, Campus Insiders, live collegiate games, and Sinclair's American Sports Network distribution and live collegiate games. The entities joined forces in the spring of 17, and by the way, it's owned by a collection of the industry leaders, Silver Chalice, Sinclair, BAM Tech, the NHL, the PGA Tour, and Meredith Corp. It is a complicated media landscape, and to explain it is the guy that runs the company, Jason Coyle.
Inside the boardroom, beyond the scoreboard, trillion-dollar business of sports, and everybody always focuses on vertically integrated platforms, consolidation of new media, digitizing, globalization. I've heard those words till I'm blue in the face, but it's about time, and refreshingly so, that we have somebody that's really acting on it and taking it to the next level. There was a company called Campus Insiders and 120 Sports and American Sports Network, all of those guys, and it took a entity and a vision to combine it all and create a process that we have today. Jason Coyle, I stole some of your thunder. Tell us about the company.
Well, thanks, Rick. I really appreciate you having me on. And as I mentioned before we went live, I'm always excited to talk about Stadium. And the opportunity that we are seeing out there and living on a daily basis. Well, we built the company to take full advantage of all the macro trends that are going on in media. We're next generation sports network, and the only one launched really in the last 30, 40 years with full vision as to the modern sports landscape. And so by combining the entities that you mentioned, we were able to form a 24/7 fully programmed sports network that in some ways has a traditional look and feel. We have a fully programmed schedule. We're live every day from the studio. We have exclusive live events. We have original programming. We have great talent. We have a studio here in the United Center, just a couple steps away from the Michael Jordan statue, so right in the heart of a very active and vibrant sports scene. And like I said, in some ways, we have that very traditional feel. Certainly the quality, the programming mix, and everything that fans and audiences are used to. But in all the important ways, we're completely different, and we're built just for today's media landscape, just for today's fan, for today's distribution partners. And what that gives us is really an unbelievable runway where we're the only sports network being distributed every day into all the growing media platforms out there, whether that is free-to-air broadcast television that we can talk about, all the over-the-top platforms, whether it's Roku or Sling TV or the rest, all the social platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Twitch. We're just built to take full advantage of traditional rights and production values, but with full vantage point for where consumption is going right now. So you put all that together, and it's a really exciting proposition for us. And on top of all that, the reason that we think that we've got a great chance to become the most distributed sports network, reaching the maximum number of interested users, is on top of those distribution advantages, we're a completely free platform. And so we're offering this cable quality, traditional style viewing opportunity for free and on a fan's favorite device, on a fan's favorite platform, and really bringing content to people where and when they want to watch. And so I think we're in really great shape to make some noise in the years ahead.
The bottom line of all of this clearly is that people have been talking about the vision of putting everything together for years, but Jerry Reinsdorf's leverage got Silver Chalice and the NHL and the PGA Tour and BAMTech and Sinclair, Meredith. There are heavy hitters in the industry that are partners in your organization. So talk a little bit about your business structure.
Sure. Well, first, it's a unique and we think powerful combination of rights holders and media companies. And so we have different investors contributing capital, promotion, and rights. And it really creates an interesting mix. So on one hand, you have rights holders that really help us create terrific content and give us all the advantages that we would need in terms of showing highlights or look-ins or games. And then we have the heft of the media companies to get us distributed across the digital landscape, and then in Sinclair's case, certainly across the television landscape. And what's interesting is there's no majority shareholder. So this is all requires cooperation and consensus. And that's the good news. I think everyone sees the vision. Everyone sees the opportunity. Everyone's been highly cooperative as to building the company. And I think we're positioned because of that to go in some really interesting places.
Talk about media trends for the consumers, business show, international as well, and obviously you're built on a business plan that talks about growth. You see media rights fees or deals increasing. Baseball's a good example getting into the next century largely, or the next cycle, largely because you have some new players on the landscape that bids up as opposed to the traditional leverage of the usual networks. And so the more Facebooks and Snapchats and Googles and frankly stadiums you have in the mix, the higher the rights fees, which means it's more expensive, good for players, good for teams, good for owners. Do I have that right?
In some cases, yes. And in a large standpoint, I think you're going to see rights fees just continue to go up. But we have a really interesting, to talk about the macro trends, a really interesting place that I think is going to help us maintain some sanity around our rights fees. And that is that we are going free and broad and reaching tomorrow's fans, tomorrow's student athletes, tomorrow's prospective students on platforms where they want to be. And I think the industry trends that we're seeing right now in digital, you see a lot of these paid products, whether it's an ESPN Plus or it's a Bleacher Report Live, DAZN. I think they're all really worthy and they're all exciting and they all play very well with what we're doing. As people go niche and paid behind a wall, we want to take a subset of those rights and create a platform for our rights holders to reach fans in the most broad possible way. And I really think that there's been an effective argument as we talk with rights holders about keeping a meaningful game of the week type package out from behind the paywall and leaning into tomorrow's fan bases and reaching the younger consumers. And we don't need all the rights, and we don't necessarily ever want to be in a competition with some of these guys for the top dollar. But I do think that it's in rights holders' best interest to keep growing the sport, reaching new fans, to go free and to go broad. So we think we're in a pretty good position to compete for rights. We announced not too long ago a multiple-year deal with Conference USA, where we partnered with Facebook on that deal. And Facebook has a very similar view of the world as we do, open, broad, reaching the maximum number of fans. And again, we weren't out to take all of the rights from that particular rights holder, just a meaningful subset that could reach fans outside of a paid product. So that's one trend that I think we're really zigging when others are zagging on that front. And then another macro trend that we're taking full advantage of is the reemergence of the digital antenna and the once again growing significance of free-to-air broadcast television. I've been in this business a long time, and when I first got in, broadcast was very important, and then it was an afterthought at best for a decade, 15 years. And now the idea of the opportunity for fans and audiences to watch what is essentially elite content for free is starting to strike a chord again with cord cutters. So you have these digital antennas, not the old rabbit ears on the tops of the houses, but you have these miniaturized antennas shipping in Samsung smart TVs, shipping in Roku boxes. And you're plugging in TV sets, and they're scanning before you even call the cable company or even your broadband company, and they're scanning for content. And in the old days, you'd be able to see 3 or maybe 5 channels. And these days, you could see 80. And there's almost a reinvention of a cable bundle, except it's free and it's free and it is available via broadcast instead of a connected pipe. And we are the only sports network in that space. So we have a real opportunity as we cover almost 70% of the country for people to discover us as they're finding themselves with these digital antennas in their devices. And it's a really exciting opportunity for us. The broadcast standard, importantly, is moving to a third generation from analog to digital, where we are now, to a new standard called ATSC 3.0. And what you're going to see there is ultra high definition, really, really high quality delivery, almost a broadband-like interactivity. And as you see net neutrality take some steps sideways, and you're worried about fast lanes and data caps, we're able to reach fans as this new standard takes hold on their handsets, watching for free instead of streaming and paying the freight. So we're really excited about being positioned as the only sports network inside this free-to-air space, and that's one of the macro trends that really is driving our business.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Jason Coyle and Stadium redefining the industry. One more question for you. Where are you and Stadium and the business in 5 years?
Well, our founding premise is we will be the most widely distributed and easily accessible sports network that there is. And we're already about halfway to the basic cable package in terms of our number of homes. And at some point, we feel strongly that we will cross and exceed. And our absolute intention and goal is to become a ubiquitous offering that sports fans check every day for news, for information, for great content, and then they go seek out whatever paid bundle or app or other subscription product that they might like. But I think that we've got a real shot to become a daily part of the sports conversation, and that's where we fully intend to be even prior to 5 years.
Jason Coyle, daily part of the sports conversation. Everybody, you heard it here first. Rick Horrow, speak with you soon.
Well, as the company grows, you can really tell that one of the things they want to do is to provide free, unique content from as many providers as possible to the fan, to the consumer, because we all agree that's what it's all about, reaching the fan with content that'll make him and her, he and she more engaged, and obviously corporations benefit. Let's talk about the big event that everybody's all jacked up about. Super Bowl 53, the Patriots, old hat, the Rams, new hat. But here's some interesting stats. A 50-second ad rate for the Super Bowl increased 96% during the past decade, about 5.24 million in 18, according to Cantor Media. And during that same period, average primetime ad rates for programming that's non-sports in everything, prime time, fell 12% during that period. Marketers last year, $408 million for in-game messages. The pre- and post-game spots, total investment about $482. The 2017 Super Bowl holds the record because that went into overtime. But then as far as hospitality, up 17% from last season's event. No surprise, that was in Minnesota. And On Location Experiences says that the female year-over-year increase in fans purchasing NFL tickets is up 61%. That's important. And while the thousands of eyeballs and dollars to the mix may be increased by the Rams and the L.A. market, Tom Brady making his 9th appearance nauseates some fans, some say, validates some fans, some say, but everybody is incredibly interested. Celebrities, Super Bowl ads, we all understand that. Jason Bateman in a Hyundai ad, 43 from the year prior, 56 last year. Peter Herman, Luke Wilson, while Amy Schumer and Rihanna have said they're going to stay away in support of Colin Kaepernick, many other brands continue to take the regular Joe route for Super Bowl spots, opting to spend their advertising dollars on real people promoting real products with humor, poignancy, or both. Most brands are tangling with political and social issues during their advertising campaign. 77% disapproved of political Super Bowl advertisements, according to the baby boomers polls, and everybody's looking at these polls. Only 35% of Generation Z respondents called political Super Bowl ads very or somewhat appropriate. And the Super Bowl features ads as before, but the bottom line is you have to be really, really careful about it. Obviously, Coca-Cola, T-Mobile, diversity themes, Dodge Ram truck spot using the audio of Martin Luther King last year promoting public service. Marketers haven't shown any inclination to charge into hardcore politics or social controversies. But listen, with the country as divided as it is, unity, inclusion, diversity obviously are going to make their way into the February 3 broadcast. And what also needs to make its way in is the philanthropy and the social good that the Super Bowl has that provides a platform for everybody to come together, not just Pollyanna, but obviously commitments of doing great by doing good. Detroit Lions owner Martha Ford joins forces with her team's players to pledge about $600,000 to community efforts. Ford and the players agreed to combine those dollars to help new Detroit Lions Inspire Change initiative around the city. The players with Detroit Police Department, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, the Detroit Lions Academy, And additionally, the funds will be used to provide clean drinking water in Detroit public schools, help the Charity for Children initiatives, aid Mariners Inn for homeless men. And under Detroit Lions Inspire Change, players will be able to directly take action for social change themselves. And frankly, isn't that, among other things, what the social protest movement is all about? How about Robert Kraft, the New England Patriots owner? Not only does he continue to go to Super Bowls and make them regular, but Kraft was awarded Israel's 2019 Genesis Prize in recognition for his philanthropy and commitment to combating anti-Semitism. A $1 million award, widely known as the Jewish Nobel Prize, granted each year to a person recognized as an inspiration to the next generation of Jews through professional achievement and commitment to Jewish values. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to present Kraft the award in Jerusalem in June. Although a highly politicized region, both the Genesis Prize and the foundation and Kraft himself want to prevent the award for philanthropy from becoming politicized. And the award comes during a high point from Kraft, Patriots, Super Bowl, and obviously the NFL moving in a direction that includes philanthropy as its primary mandate. Well, the other mega event this week, obviously, the NHL All-Star Game. They have activation defined in a entirely different way this weekend. The SAP NHL All-Star Skills Zone, the 2019 NHL Mascot Showdown presented by Playmobil, along with attractions from Adidas, Bridgestone, and the Cigna Kids Zone, the Coors Light Silver Bullet Snapshot, the Enterprise NHL Hat Trick Challenge, the FanDuel Chuck-a-Puck, Geico Speed Shot Challenge, the New Amsterdam Vodka Bullseye Battle, and more. Hey, listen, the NHL understands what activation is all about. The market dominated by the Golden State Warriors. San Jose Sharks got to the finals a couple of years ago. They want to dominate the headlines again, and the All-Star Game, a really good way to do it. Special Adidas, NHL, specialized jerseys, and the NHL obviously combines tech with all of this. The NHL put chips on its players and pucks to create the ultimate stat tracking system. These companies like WSC Sports, Trigger Global, Beyond Sports, all of those issues, all of those companies can be involved in the mix, and the NHL plans to debut some of the technology at the All-Star Game itself. The NBA is advanced, and the NHL is saying, whoa, don't forget us. How about the Australian? It is coming to a head, but when you think about tennis down under, it is not just down under, it is international. The Australian Open is generating significant dollars all over, and the 25 to 30% increase in revenues, according to Tennis Australia, have given them the ability not only to generate significant dollars, but also to grow the game and to grow an event. They're generating $249 million with a broadcast deal with Nine Entertainment and signed a $7 million plus annual set of sponsorship deals, Kia and Chinese spirits brand 1715. It gives them the ability to have an amazing event that dominates the Melbourne landscape with a record attendance of nearly $750 million over 2 weeks, $45 million prize purse, 14% increase. The increase is directed toward players qualifying, early rounds, and doubles, which it should do. And also, Tennis Australia holds a $359,000 event for esports e-leader Fortnite after striking an agreement with developer Riot Games. So, tennis, and more tennis. But let's not also forget about golf. We're in the middle of the beginning of the Tiger Woods season yet again. He's going forward to the debut at the Farmers Insurance Open this week. With the commitment, expect an additional 30,000 fans. Expect the world's number one, Justin Rose, John Rahm, defending his tournament, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, all of them. But he's won this event, Tiger, 7 times. It also marks the site where he won his last of his 14 majors, that incredible 2008 U.S. Open where he played it with a broken body. Next up for Torrey Pines after this week's tournament, $14 million renovation of the facility's famed South Course as it begins to prepare for the U.S. Open held yet again in 2021. Finally, let's talk about the intricacies of soccer. First, domestically, Austin gets the 27th franchise. Don Garber recognized Austin FC as the 27th team. The expansion franchise set to begin play in 2021 at a privately financed 20,000-seat stadium at the McCalla Place in North Austin. The team will be majority owned by Austin FC chair Anthony Precourt. He also plans to announce local investors soon. He made his intentions known to purchase the Columbus Crew with a clause that will eventually let him move to Austin, but the deal basically scuttled by passionate Crew fans. Good for the league. Now they've got a rabid University of Texas-oriented fan base, especially now with the UT's football team once again on the rise, and also leveraging to keep the team in Columbus, a win-win-win for the MLS. How about international soccer? Well, first of all, more than 7 million fans attended La Liga and second division matches during the first half of 18-19 campaign, an increase of 600,000 over the previous season. The stadiums registered a total attendance of about 7.5 million in the first half of the current season. Never before had the number for the first half of a campaign reached 7 million. The 2017 season saw Barcelona start a new front-of-shirt sponsorship deal with Japanese online dealer Rakuten, who's also involved with the Warriors. They agreed in 2016 with a 4-year partnership, $260 million, and these likely numbers increase exponentially when that expires because of what's happening with La Liga. Also, they announced that all matches from their Segunda division streamed for free on YouTube in a range of markets. According to Sports Pro, the league's YouTube channel provides live English commentary from this season's matches, 155 countries. The new agreement will take immediate effect and offer thousands who may not have had previous transmission access to part of the world of Spanish soccer for free. The YouTube arrangement will function in the U.S., Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. And in addition to 11 matches broadcast from every game week, a 50-minute highlight show be provided on YouTube. Spain will continue to broadcast its rights through beIN, Connect, Orange, Telecable, Telefonica, and Sky. Listen, the bottom line is international media developing as fast as social media, and it is truly a global exercise. Jason Coyle tells us one way that he is trying to create a niche to capture that world for fans under their business model, and obviously everybody else doing some niches that will deal with their aspect of the business. Big week next week. Super Bowl gets ready. NHL All-Star Game aftermath and all of the other issues surrounding the business, marketing, deal-making of sports. I'd like to thank Dan Martin, Reed Weber, Tanner Simpkins for helping us put this together. We'd like to thank Jason Coyle for his time and his perspective. And we'd like to thank you for listening and watching. And join us once again when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.